Hey everybody, thanks for clicking that thumbnail and welcome to Talking Habs. So in this video, this is going to be I think a three-part series. What it is my season preview, a little bit more in depth than my last one. So we're gonna do it in three parts because otherwise it would be like an hour-long video because I talk too much sometimes. So we're going to start this video out. We're going to look at the lineup. I'll go a little bit more in depth than I have before. We're going to look at the taxi squad because now we know what the taxi squad is going to be. And we're going to take a quick look at and talk about the core players on this team. So that's the season preview part one. And that's right here at Talking Habs. If you're a Habs fan like I am and you're looking for more Habs content on a daily basis, then subscribe and ring that notifications bell. And that's going to get you your daily fix of Bleu Blanc Rouge right here at Talking Habs. Let's get into that video. All right, so we're going to talk about I've got the lineup here, so by the line, we'll go through it a little bit more in depth than I ever have before, and hopefully it'll make some sense. So we're going to talk first about line one, which is the best line that they've had for the last couple of years at least, and that is Phil Danault centering Thomas Tatar and Brendan Gallagher. That is one of the top 5-on-5 lines, top possession lines in the league, and they can do it all. They can shut you down. They can also score goals because you've got points. Because you've got Tatar. He led the team in points last year. He tied with Brendan Gallagher in the goals lead. So this line can do it all. They can shut you down. They can score. They're going to get heavy lifting here. Phil Danault is the number one center still on this team. Nick Suzuki is challenging for it, but he hasn't got it yet. KK is still working it out. Hopefully we'll have a big improvement from him this season. So Phil Danault is going to get the heavy lifting all year on this team, and deservedly so. He can do a lot. And listen, you know, there's talk about Pierre-Luc Dubois and that trading for him. You know, if you look at points totals, Danault isn't that far off of Dubois, and he is also, you know, he's doing the same job. He's just not as I don't know. I don't know what it is, but he's not that far off. He gets good points. And like I said, he shuts you down as well. He plays on the power play. I don't know about the power play, but he'll play on the penalty kill, obviously. And it's just a great line. Brendan Gallagher, if he was only 3-4 inches taller, this guy would be a force to be reckoned with. At his size, he already is. He is the team's usual goal scoring lead. This might change a little bit this season because he's got, there's support now behind all of these guys. In Anderson and even Armia and Byron, even on the fourth line, they can all score some goals. And maybe Gallagher doesn't get as many, but I still think he's going to lead the team. I think it's going to be between Anderson and Gallagher, actually, to tell you the truth. Thomas Tatar, like I said, now he's playing for a contract. He's in the last season of his contract, so he's playing for a contract. And you got to think he's going to have a good season. He led the team last year, 61 points in 68 games, 22 goals, tied with Gallagher. So this is a really good line. Number one. Now, that's usually been it. After that, there hasn't been a ton of support behind them. It started to emerge last season, but look at it now. Line two, Drouin. I'll start out with Suzuki. Nick Suzuki centering Jonathan Drouin on the left and Josh Anderson, newly acquired from the Blue Jackets in exchange for Max Domi, on the right side. And this is more support than that first line has gotten in the longest time. Drouin is primed, hopefully, for the best season that he's had here and in his career. He is actually on a line that is probably the best kind of line for him, and I'll explain. In his junior years, he played with a smart two-way center, scoring center, playmaking center in Nathan McKinnon. He's got this in Nick Suzuki. A very similar type of guy, right? Nick Suzuki a little younger than McKinnon is, but Nick Suzuki's that 200-foot center, 200-foot game. Smart, playmaker. They've got chemistry. He's got that. On the other side, you got Josh Anderson. There was a guy, now I saw somebody explain this, I think it was Scotian Canadian in his video, was a big guy. He knew, because he probably saw them, he lives out there, a big power forward type guy like Anderson, and maybe not as talented as Anderson, but that type, and that's where Drouin thrived. He's in that same position for the first time as an NHLer, and we're all hoping that this is it. He can put it all together on that line. This is a line that's going to give you a lot of secondary scoring, secondary offense. Anderson, 6'3", 225 pounds. He's the power forward we haven't had here in a long time, and he's got talent. He'll have a bounce back from his injury-plagued, as long as he stays healthy, his injury-plagued last season where he only had 5 points in 26 games. I mean, what do you expect with a bad shoulder? I mean, it wasn't going to happen. He bounces back this year, and this is great support of that first line. Now, on top of that, you got line 3. The aforementioned Jesperi Kotkaniemi, third season in the league. Looks like he's primed for, if not a full breakout, at least the start of breaking out into the kind of player he's going to be. Everything I read about camp, his shot is amazing. He's looking so much better, physical, playing the kind of game he's supposed to play as a third-line center, especially. Now he's got support with him this time. Usually he's got someone like Lehkonen on the left. That's not happening. Someone who's going to pull the trigger when he passes the puck to him, and he's a good passer as well as a good shooter, which I think we're going to see a lot of his shots this year. I think he's going to shoot a lot more. But when he does pass and he makes plays, he's going to have Tyler Toffoli on the left. And Tyler Toffoli, he has Stanley Cup rings, so he's a winner. He can play anywhere on the line. He can get into position. He's got a great shot. He's just a great player. A great acquisition that we've got. So that's somebody that's different. He's got somebody now that he can pass to, that can score. He hasn't had that really. Joel Armia on the right, 6'4", 215 pounds. Not the most physical big guy, but goes into the corners, can get the puck, can score. He's got good hands. He's great at getting pucks, intercepting pucks, getting in the way of pucks, and turning that into offense. This is going to be another good line. You're going to get that tertiary scoring that you hear about. That means third line, third tier scoring, and you're going to get that. You got 3 lines here. You can roll any of them, and you can expect that you're going to get some offense there. The support for the first line, they haven't had that in the longest time. So this is going to be a real different look on this team. On the fourth line, you're not bad. If you've got Artturi Lehkonen and Paul Byron as your 2 wingers on the fourth line because there's no room for them up higher, that's not bad at all. That shows some really good depth on this team. That's something we haven't had. Last year, one of the biggest problems was lack of depth. There's no lack of depth right now. You got Jake Evans in the center. He's also young, so you got 3 young centers. This could be, maybe it's the only questionable part here, and maybe a weakness. I don't know. We'll see how that works out. But it's 3 young guys. I think they're really good and talented. Suzuki, I think he's going to break out this year. KK on the verge of it. And Evans, I like what I've seen from Evans. I think he's going to do a good job there. And I think you've got Byron on that wing. He's speedy. He gets in there. He can get you a lot of those he gets shorthanded goals. He gets you a lot of those. He produces offense from the fourth line. Let's put it that way. Lehkonen might not score as much as he has been, which isn't that ton. He has trouble pulling the trigger, but he won't need to on that fourth line. He'll get you some goals. I would expect probably, maybe around 8, 9, 10 goals from that spot there. And I just think that's a really good, solid fourth line that can play. He's fantastic defensively, Lehkonen. He's got a great defensive game. He's going to do well there. And this is a really good forward lineup. I haven't seen it this good in, I can't tell you how long. My dog wants to bark. Whoops, I'm going to stop for a sec. All right, so this is a really good forward lineup. I haven't seen such a deep forward lineup in the longest time. Next up, the defense. First pair is going to be Sherratt and Weber. They worked really well together. Took Sherratt a little bit, maybe 10 games or so into the season to get his footing here. He's definitely established now. He's big. Look at the defense. 6'3". Ray, no barking. Sherratt's 6'3". Weber is 6'4". Your first line is big, bruising. You know, Weber likes to play physical. Sherrod doesn't shy away from the physical play. They can move the puck. They're just not the best puck moving pair on, or this, maybe it's the one weakness on defense is they don't have, they could use another puck mover. Hang on a sec. Okay, now that I got my thought. Okay, listen. Weber can move the puck. He's not the best puck mover. Sherrod can actually move the puck a little bit. He's a good skater. He can carry it up there. He's probably a little underrated that way. Edmondson might be the least mobile of them as far as puck moving, but he is decently mobile. He is more of a stay-at-home kind of guy, yes, but I think he's going to have a little bit more offense than we expect. Now, Petry's your puck mover, definitely. I think Romanov's going to be a puck mover. And I do believe that Kulak he's kind of in between, I think. He can move the puck. He's a good skater. And I think he makes pretty good plays. And I think that spot there on the third, listen, he did really well with Petry, especially the RTP. I think he'll do well there on the left side. Romanov looks very comfortable on the right. It looks like he's adjusting to the North American ice. He's got good size on him now at 6 foot. 208 pounds. He is a crushing hitter, and I think he's going to thrive here. He is going to be apparently on the, well, we'll get into that in another video, on the power play unit, second one. Looks like he's going to be the quarterback, I think, on that unit, the only defenseman on that unit. So he's very, they're placing a lot of trust in Romanov straight out of the gate, and it looks like from what I've seen so far that it's warranted. So this is a really big defense. They're all 6 foot and over. The only one that's not is the seventh guy, and that's Victor Mete, who gives you a totally different look with the speed. He's got great offense, and his advanced stats numbers are off the charts. From what I don't know a lot about advanced stats, but that's what I hear. He's got great advanced stats numbers. So you know, this is a really good defense. You're not going to get in tight on price very easily. You're going to have to pay the price for doing that. No pun intended. And they're built for the playoffs. Size-wise, look at the forwards. We're used to saying Montreal has a small forward group. They don't. They're no longer small. You got Byron, Gallagher, the two smallest guys. They're 5'9", Tatar 5'11". Suzuki's 5'11", but he has an NHL body in that he's kind of thick. He's 5'11", but he's over 200 pounds. He's got an NHL body. He can handle the ruggedness of the play. This is not a small team anymore. This is a totally different team. Everybody who's underrating Montreal is going to, I don't say regret it. Well, the other teams might. They're going to know that this is a different team. Not going to take long. I really think they might take a little bit of time to gel. I think the first month in January, they might not be the top team in the division yet, but they are going to get there, and I don't think it'll take that long to get there. Now, we got goaltending, starter, Carey Price. What else is there to say about Carey Price? Maybe the best. I don't think he's up there. He's in the top 7 goalies, 6 goalies, 5 goalies in the league. Carey Price showed us that he still has it in that RTP. He was fantastic. So Carey Price, rested, is still a great goalie. And he is going to be rested because as the backup, we got Jake Allen. Jake Allen, if not the best backup in the league, he's one of them. He's in the top 3 of the best backups in the league for sure. And you know, I saw in the scrimmage that was on the other day, what a difference in look. He looks like an NHL goalie. That's a big difference. We haven't had that. So he'll get his share of wins. He's gonna take some of the playing time away from Price, keep Price fresh, and by the time we get to the playoffs, it's gonna be a totally different Carey Price than what we normally see. All right, so that's the starting group. I think this is a great lineup. And I think this is a lineup that's going to win. I think this is the lineup that's going to do well in the North Division, the All-Canadian Division. The last 3 years in a row, they've had a winning record, Montreal, and they haven't had this lineup. So as long as these guys do find the chemistry, I mean, that's the only thing that could happen. Maybe they're not a fit altogether, but I don't think that's going to happen. And once that happens, this team is going to be a winning team. I'm predicting them to win the division. Let's move on to the taxi squad. So the taxi squad has been, I guess, finalized. This is what it's going to be. We're going to have the goalie on the taxi squad is not going to be Michael McNiven. That I kind of wasn't sure because McNiven's been one of the main guys in camp. But it's Charlie Lindgren. He's on the taxi squad. Ryan Poehling and the young Cale Fleury on defense. These guys are going to be on the taxi squad. I'm a little surprised about Poehling. I would have thought they'd want him playing every day down in Laval. It doesn't mean that he's permanently on there. He can go, he's got, I think, waiver exempt. I think he's waiver exempt. So he can go up and down everywhere. So we'll see how long that lasts. Corey Perry did not get claimed. Corey Perry clear waivers, and he is on the taxi squad. So he will start there. I think it'll take about 10 days after the season starts for them to get far enough under the cap to, or the difference of how much less there is to pay him, because they're $708,000, I think, under the cap now. At some point, there'll be less than $708,000 left to pay Corey Perry, and then he'll be brought up because he has 30 days. He doesn't have to clear waivers again, and he'll be brought up, and he will probably stay permanently on the 23-man roster at that point. So Corey Perry will be on the taxi squad. Michael Frolik also cleared waivers. He will be on the taxi squad. Like I said, Cale Fleury. I guess Fleury's another guy. I'm not sure about waivers with Fleury. I think he is waiver exempt, so he can go up and down, and I don't know whether they want to keep him there for any length of time or have him go to AHL and play. So we'll see about that, and that leaves one open spot because you're allowed 6. So I thought they would have an open spot so they can send guys like Romanov, Suzuki, and KK on off days down to the taxi squad. On paper, it's just on paper, and they can save the money, and that's how you start saving money and getting farther under the cap. So there you go. That's going to be the taxi squad. That's kind of finalized today with the announcement that Frolik and Perry cleared waivers. Now, I wanted to talk a bit about the core players and who the core players I feel on this team are. I've got 8 of them. I think there's usually about 8 core players, and I could be wrong on that, but that's who I think. There's 8 core players, starting with Phil Deneau. Phil Deneau right now at this point is a core player down the middle because he's the number 1 center. And until KK can establish that he's the number 2 center and Suzuki the number 1, that's the only time I think that'll change. And then KK would become part of the core. I don't think KK's part of the core yet. But if there's, because I've always seen it as 8 players. I don't know why that's in my head. I could be wrong. And if that's the case, KK would be included. Nick Suzuki, definitely a core player on this team. He is going to be, I think, the number 1 center in the next year, 2 years maybe 2 years before he actually takes that mantle. I lost my phone. Got Brendan Gallagher, of course. Brendan Gallagher, he's the heart and soul of this team. Leading goal scorer most years, if not every year, not at least tied even in the year that he had injury problems, and he's still tied with Tatar for the league for the team lead. So Gallagher is definitely a core. Newly acquired Josh Anderson signed a 7-year deal. He's going to be here for a while. He's definitely part of the core. He is going to show us that as the season starts. On the defense, Shea Weber as the captain, and still number 1 or number 2 defenseman on the team, definitely part of the core. Jeff Petrie, the other defenseman, that's, there's another guy also I think is definitely part of that core group. He's probably going to lead the way in points on the defense, so he's definitely there. Alex Romanov, newly arrived Alex Romanov. I think Alex Romanov also makes it as part of the core because he, I think, is going to be a really great player, and he's going to be here a long time, and that's what, he's going to be driving some of that. I think he's going to work his way up to the probably number 2 defenseman on the left side, maybe the right side because he's playing right side right now. And that leaves Carey Price in nets. I don't think that changes as the starting goaltender for a little bit, and he's part of that core. So there you go. That's what I think the core players are. It is a much better core player group than the first time I did this. 2 years ago, I did who I thought the core players were then. This is way better than wow. So this team has gotten so much better and is going to continue to get better and you know, and hold that line for a little while and be one of those contending teams. I can't see them not being a contender in the next year or two. So there you go. This is my first part, season preview. We're at a little bit longer than I thought. And yeah, look at the lineup, the taxi squad, and the core players on this team. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. I'm losing my voice. It's like my third video today. And give a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel and maybe haven't subscribed yet, please do that. Subscribe, ring that notifications bell. That's going to get you your daily fix of Bleu Blanc Rouge right here at Talking Habs. And I think that's it. Please stay safe, everybody. Oh, I forgot to say, let me know in the comment section what you think of my what I said here about the lineup and my core players and all that. Let me know what you think in the comment section. That's what I forgot. And that's it. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Peace out, y'all. Gonna see you next video, part 2. And I think there's a part 3. It might be 2 parts. I'm not sure yet. When I film it, I'll let you know. Okay, have a great one, everybody. Bye.